Chapter 3 was all about functions. The definitions of relation and function are important and all, but they won't be on your exam. I care more about domain and range. So can you find the domain and range? And then do you know how to tell if something's a function or not, right? So I think I had you guys do those. And then we had some of the vertical line test as well, right? Remember, a relation is a function if for every x there's only one option for y. So if any of your domains or your x's repeat, then it's not a function. So for example, number 7 here, since the x value of 1 has 3 different options for y, it is not a function, right? You will have a question about the vertical line test on that cumulative test. So it is an important one to just practice. Remember, the vertical line test says if I cross more than once, it is not a function. The reason for that is if you were to write 2 coordinates down, your x values would repeat, right? I have a -4 twice, right? And then, if I were looking, you might see one similar to like number 12 on a test where it says, is this a function, yes or no? So if you say no, you'll have to identify 2 coordinates with the same x value, right? Where the vertical line test fails. So you could have chosen, I did -1, 3, and -1, -1. You could have also done like 0, -1, and then maybe 0, 5-ish. There were a couple different options there. And then, let's see here. Evaluating a function. So this is similar to what we've done before. Evaluate just means plug in. What this is saying is I'm going to take 10 and I plug it into my h function. So all I'm going to do is look at h and then plug 10 in and get my answer. Same thing with j of 25. This is saying I'm looking at my j function and I need to plug in 25. And if you have x written twice, you need to plug 25 into both places and then solve. Continuing to review. Remember, when you list your domain and range, you only want to list the x values once, each x value once. Same thing with each y value. And these 22 through 25, what this question is saying is, looking at my function when x is -2, so I go to when x is -2, what's my y value? -2. When my x is 2, what's my y value? It's 3, right? All right, you guys good if I flip? Alrighty. Looking at identifying the key point and function family from the graphs, you will have to do that on a cumulative test. So remember, absolute value gives me a v, quadratic is a u, it's a parabola. And then square root function is the awkward dab. And it only goes one direction. If you can remember how to find your key point from your equation for these ones, then you will have to graph one equation on your test. But it is easier to remember if I know what my key point is, and then I can tell you if it opens up or down, then that's all I really need to know. But yeah. And then for your arithmetic sequences, I think we just started at 10, right? 10 through 13. Okay. Arithmetic sequences, basically all you have to do is plug in the numbers that they give you into the arithmetic sequence formula. And really all that's saying is if nth term, I'm going to plug in 18 for n. 18 minus 1 is 17. A sub 1 is 5. I'm going to plug in 5 there. And then d is 7. I plug in 7 where I see a d. Remember, you need to follow order of operations. So 18 minus 1 is 17. Then I can do 17 times 7. Last thing I should do is add 5. Same thing here. -5 times 14. Remember, you have to do n minus 1 first. So 15 minus 1 is 14 times -5. Then add the 3. So evaluate the piecewise function for f of -8 and f of 7. If you guys remember, my x value is -8. Where does -8 fit in one of these inequalities? Well, negative 8 is less than or equal to 4, so my answer is 12, right? If I'm looking at the number 7, it looks like 7 is greater than 5, right? So 5 would be my answer. That's how I'm picking which piece to choose, right? I use the inequalities to pick my answer. But if you look at number 13, you had to go one step further, right? So not only do I have to say, where does negative 1 fit? Oh, negative 1 is less than or equal to negative 1. So I would have to pick 2x is my answer, but I know what x is. I know x is negative 1, so I have to plug that in to get negative 2. Do you guys kind of remember that stuff now that you've seen it? Okay. It's a little tricky, but if you have any questions, I guess just let me know.